Hi everyone, we are going to be doing a picture from Maria Trolle's Universe colouring book today, starting it today, and I have picked this page. Now this is actually a picture from Luna, so if you have Luna you can colour along, or this book, or find something similar. It's completely up to you. I don't know why this picture appealed. I just looked at it and it just, I don't know, I just rather liked it with the newts and the lilies and things like that. So I chose this one. I'm just going to pop some paper behind the page. It'll be a bit of rustling. Now I was not sure which pencils to pick for this picture. What I decided to do was to use my Woomer pencils. Now these are quite new to me because I've been waiting for them to send me the green gold, which was missing from the set when it was sent to me. So I've now made the completed swatch chart with all the swatches in, so you can have a look at that. And if you want me to do any comparison swatch charts, I might do I might make a couple this afternoon anyway, but if there are any ones that you particularly want done, I might do Prism and Poly. I'm not sure yet. Let me know. Now someone did point out to me that some of the colours are quite similar, and she's right. Like these two yellows are really close. For example, these two colours are quite close. These two are quite close. These two, these purples and things like that. There is a closeness in the colours. The greens are all quite different. And these dark browns and these greys. So there is some closeness in colours, which is not a good really, because obviously we want to try and have different colours. But I thought I would give them a go, because I have done a video where, oh sorry, I just ran my chair into the desk. I was trying to get closer. I remember I can't, there's a leg in the way. So I have done a video showing them all, but I thought it's better to colour something, I always think. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just moving my swatch chart away. So we have this page. Now I don't know what colour I'm going to do our sort of newts and things. The newts. What I thought I would do was I'd start with the flowers. Why not? And so that's, I can come in a little bit closer so we can see all of them, because I'm going to do them all the same. Now, water lilies, or lotus flowers, as some people call them, the centres are usually yellow and the outsides are quite a delicate pink in the ones that I've seen anyway. And we do have those colours, so we're going to have a go and see where we get. So the yellow centres, I think I'm going to use the cadmium yellow for that. Oh, I can't get it out of the tray. Good start. Oh, I popped it out. I don't know if I've got the right one. Yeah, so this is the cadmium yellow. It's really difficult to read because they're gold. It catches the light. So cadmium yellow, it's like a mid yellow, so it's not lemony, it's not orangey, it's not brown, but somewhere in between. Now the swatch chart that I've made, what sharpness shall I use? I think I'll use my Tagal. The swatch chart that I've made is in the order, in number order, and it's pretty rubbish, the order, I think. So I'm not very happy with it, to be honest. I'm just blocking in the yellow. I'm not doing anything because it's really special, because they're really fine lines of colour. So it's a bit rubbish. So look, you get a few pinks up here and then you get some down there. It's just super silly. So although not as silly as some pencils I was looking at last night, which I've got to try and I'm going to make a swatch chart for this afternoon, because my friend Linda, lovely Linda, has sent me loads of pencils that she doesn't want anymore, or that she can't really use anymore. And one of the sets she sent me has got no identifying names or like brand names, so I can't work out what brand they are. They have a black barrel. They're not black wood, black barrel dipped end, and written on it says coloured pencil, spelt with a U in the English way, and each have got a number on. And she said you can't remember what they are either, which is okay, fair enough. And so they've got a number on the end, so just put them in number order, and I've realised that it looks like they're a 72 set, with 72 being the black, you know, and 1 being the white. So, you know, but there are a few missing, which I suspect Linda may have lost, misplaced, or put in a different pack. But that's okay. It looks like they're just some sort of greys and browns. So I'm okay. There's plenty of those colours anyway, so it's fine. Don't worry about it, Linda. But I'm trying to do a bit of detective work and work out what they are. And it's quite fun. I've been watching The Traitors too, so I'm feeling like, you know, I mean, not that they're a traitor, but the whole detective thing is quite fun, isn't it? Now we have a seashell pink and a baby pink, and I'm trying to choose between them. I'm going to use these 2 pinks. Oh, this one looks like neon. Look at that. Woo! This is the pink madder, and this is the seashell pink. I'm going to use them both. It doesn't come out this colour, thankfully. And neons are not my favourites. I mean, they're okay in certain circumstances, but so what I'm going to do here is the darker. What I want is the sort of bottom of the petal, bit darker like that. So anyway, so yes, I'm trying to do some detective work. Now I found that there is a set of pencils called, I think, Sou Colour, S-O-U Colour. And they have, in their 72 set, it looks like they're the same colours. In this set that I'm talking about, there's a gold one right in the middle of the reds. It's really weird in the order, you know. And this set has exactly the same, and it's the same number. But on the barrels of the pencils are written the colour names. I'm like, ooh, so that's rather a bonus. I'm going to do the same here. Just put a bit of the darker pink. So we've got the barrel names, the colour names written on the Sou Colour set, but they're American. Sou Colour spelled without a U. So I'm like, what is going on here? Now, I realise that there are manufacturers who make pencils and then brands who take them over and then sell them under their own name or whatever, that, you know. So it could be a case of that. I went to Sou Colour's website, and what I was looking at it, my husband was looking at it too, because he was quite intrigued. He was doing a bit of detective work as well. And he spotted that in the corner of the website, it said, domain currently up for sale. And we were thinking, why would you do that? If you were a brand of pencil, why would you sell your domain name? We were, because it was like soucolor.co.uk or com or something. We were so confused. So we didn't know what was going on. And if it's up for sale, why has it still got content on it? Don't they usually, maybe they don't wipe it until, maybe they've stopped making them now. It was all a big, I mean, the more I looked, the more mysterious it became. But what I'm going to do, I have decided, is print out a swatch chart for 72 pencils with the numbers 001 to 072, or maybe 01 to 72, to cut out all the extra zero typing that would just be a bit of a waste of time, and swatch them all and then have a little look at the colours. And I'm wondering whether I might find they look similar to some that I've got. My other theory is that maybe they're, what's that brand called? They look a bit like my Yova pencils that I have, which are the same as another brand. I can't think of the brand name. We're going to go down to this one. I'm going to sharpen actually. What's the brand? No, I can't remember. What's it called? It's a brand that a lot of people ask me if I've got, and I don't. Budget brand. Oh, does it begin with S? No, I don't know. It might come to me in a bit. But anyway, but I looked at that brand. What I did remember what it was called earlier, and their barrels are coloured. And I also wondered if they were Brute Funas, because I know they sort of, you know, they copy Holbein and things like that. So maybe it's them. But and also I have my suspicions that Brutfuna and Castle Arts might be the same because they're macaron, Brutfuna macaron and Castle Arts pastel tint are the same colours. So I wondered whether there was something going on there. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just trying to find out the truth. And so I thought if I swatch these pencils, I can have a look at the colours and that'll help me to maybe identify what they might be or whether they're like any sets that I've got. You know, whether they're the same as any sets that I've got. So we'll find out. But I suspect I may never resolve the mystery because I suspect they might just be a sort of non-branded set that was sold under a different name, you know. I also found it quite interesting that I was given by Linda a set of pencils called H&B pencils, and they came in a zip-up case. They're quite nice pencils. And I noticed that another brand of pencils does the same thing with a zip-up case with their brand name on the outside with a set of pencils. And I was wondering whether they were somehow related, because the pencil cases were the same sort of design with a little handle on the top, which I've not seen in a pencil case before. And they had the sort of brand name on a little square bit on the front, and it just looks so similar. We're not really in the middle, are we? That I was suspicious that they were the same. Yeah, it's a big mystery. Right, now we're switching colours to the seashell pink, which is a lighter colour. And we're going to extend the pink area towards the tip of our flower, of our petal, sorry. Like that, and put a little stroke on the turned over bit as well. I'm not convinced this was the best choice of pink. It is seashell pink. It is sort of slightly orangey, but it doesn't look it on my swatch chart. This colour. I suppose it does. Maybe I should have looked harder because that colour, Pink Meadow, doesn't really go with it. Maybe I should be using the baby pink. This one down here might have worked better, but I'm committed. No, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm going to erase it. I'm going to erase it and go for the baby pink instead. Let's take that back. It's not going to be perfect, but I will prefer it. So let's put that back. Where's our baby pink? Here it is. So here's the baby pink. I think this is going to be a better shade of pink for the lotus / lily. Why do they have two names? Yeah, it's better. I can see that's better, even though I'm going over the top of what I did before. Yeah. So it's 2 weeks before Johanna's book gets released, and I realised that when this video comes out, it would have already come out. But I'm just sort of waiting on tenterhooks, very excited, trying to find little things to fill the time and making videos that I can just move around, which I will with this one as well, if I can sort of fit in videos from her book to sort of take priority over everything really, because I think everyone's going to be excited. But I'm going to try to make sure that this is why I'm making this content, which isn't from a Johanna book, for people who don't have Johanna's books or who want something different. You know, I think it's going to be all Johanna soon on every colouring channel. So I think if I can throw something out that's a little bit different, as well as doing Johanna stuff, then it might just give those people who don't want to always see Johanna stuff. Because I've spoken to someone and seen comments of some people going, I'm not interested in a book that's all florals. I'm like, that's absolutely fair. You know, I am obviously very excited, as you can just tell. And I do enjoy a floral, but I know that not everyone does, or they don't want them all the time. And that's fine. You know, buying a colouring book is a big investment. It's a lot of money. And so if you've already got books you really love, why buy it? You know, says the person who's had it on pre-order since it was appeared, the day it appeared. But you know me, I love Johanna and I finish her books. You know, I have got quite a few of her books empty. I've got, what have I got? I've got A Magical Jungle, Secret Garden, Enchanted Forest. I haven't started yet, but I've completed 2 copies of all of those. I think it's those 3. Yeah. Oh, and A World of Flowers. Oh, I didn't know I had that one. And there you go. So, and I haven't finished my 2nd copy of World of Flowers, let alone a 3rd. I finished 2 copies of Enchanted Forest and Secret Garden and Magical Jungle and Johanna's Christmas and Lost Ocean. So World of Flowers is should be my next one to finish, but I sort of thought maybe I don't want to do it at the same time as Wonderful Wildflowers, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll see. There's the first one done. Now it's quite pale. These pencils aren't pale. If you look at the swatch chart, you can see there's some really vibrant colour. But that's how I like to do my lilies. So that's why I've kept it pale. It's not a reflection on the pencil, but I think they've blended up nicely. They're quite soft, not like Prisma soft. But, I mean, I have done a review already. But I find the more I use something, the more I can properly talk about them, if you know what I mean. And I've been using so many different brands lately because of Linda gifting me so many pencils. Not these though, these were sent to me by Woomer. And I asked them a question when they said, can we send you some pencils to review? I said, oh yes, but I have got a few questions so I can pass on the answers to my audience. Who makes these pencils? Do you make them, or are they some, you know, because as I was saying earlier, and have all these conspiracy theories, I guess they're not really, they're other people's theories to be honest, about how, you know, some companies make pencils for lots of people. And they said, we make them ourselves. So I was like, okay. But they do, I don't know. I mean, yeah, so, yeah. I couldn't say for sure. There we go. There's the next one. So, yeah, they say they make them themselves. So I guess we have to believe them. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't they? Why would they lie? So, yeah. Yeah, it is just so interesting. I think because the colouring market grew so fast, there was it was almost a little bubble, you know, and everyone wanted to jump on the bandwagon and sell colouring books and pencils and get everybody pens and things and get everyone interested in buying their stuff, and everything appeared. I'm sure we didn't have so many art materials on the market, certainly no colouring books, of course, until Johanna, well, adults colouring books, until Johanna did hers, really. I think she was the first, but I couldn't say for absolutely sure. But I know there were adults colouring children's books. Why not? If you enjoy it, do it. Right, that's our lotus flowers. Now, how are we doing for time? Oh, fine. I think I would rather colour our lilies and our newts before I tackle the water. I think I'll just find it easier on a personal level. So there's not a sort of tactical decision. I'm still thinking traitors here. But I'm going to choose the colour for my lilies. Now, lily pads, they tend to be quite a neutral colour really, but I want something dark for the vines and part of them, and then to go to lighter. What I think I might do is take this hooker's green and the leaf green. I think those 3 together would make quite a nice mix. See this turquoise, we might use that for the water with the aqua or something. But yes, I'm thinking hooker's green and leaf green. So I'm going to find those pencils. Of course, every pencil is turned the wrong way, so I can't see what they're called. There's my hooker's green. I think that looks like the leaf green. No, that's the green. Is that right? Hooker's green, green, leaf green. How many times do I have to say it before I actually remember? So I'm going to start with my hooker's green, and I'm going to come out just a tad, and I'm going to do all the outside and all these sort of viney bits, and I'm just going to stop there and then decide how to deal with our lily pads. I'm going to give it a nice sharpen, and I might actually finish that. I mean, it depends on the time it takes. So for these bits, I'm just going to block it in, and you'll be able to see the intensity of this green. You know, I'm only doing like maybe probably 5 layers, I mean, it sounds loads, but I'm just going back and forth a little bit. It's not hard work. And they're nice and intense. I'm not pressing at all hard. I've been using hard pencils actually yesterday, and some of the colours were taking a lot of work, but and layers, lots of layers, but this feels quite easy and smooth. But if you know, I don't know how much these pencils are, to be honest. I didn't really look. But coming up to Christmas, it was funny because I told my mum that Linda had sent me lots of pencils and I felt so lucky and it was really lovely. And she was like, oh, that's so kind. She said, do you have to pay for them? I was like, well, no, because it was a gift. But she said, oh, well, you won't need any pencils for Christmas then. And I was like, I've got a couple of Derwents that are about this big. But no, I won't be asking. I do sometimes ask her for pencils for Christmas when she says to me, what do you want? So I'm not sure. I could do with a chopping board. Isn't that boring? Well, she loves buying me things for the home or for myself, like clothes and things, because she likes buying clothes the most because that's what she likes receiving. But I don't think I really need any clothes, so probably. But the chopping boards I want, I think they're really expensive. I've decided to switch from plastic to wood. I think I don't know how scared I should be, but you know, you see these scary things about plastics and about how, you know, when you use a plastic chopping board, some of the plastic might come off and get in your food. Does it? I've got no idea. If it does, how harmful is it? I've got no idea. If it, you know, and how much is it compared to what we might drink in water, for example? I've got no idea. There just doesn't seem to be enough information about it all. But I've been dragged into being a bit scared. You know how it is with these things. So I'm thinking maybe I should be using wood. And then if I ingest a bit of wood because that's gone into, maybe that's okay. It's only wood. It feels like it would be more natural. My body would be able to deal with it somehow. But maybe it couldn't. I don't know. I have seen an advert where they show using like metal chopping boards, so then there's nothing can come off. The problem with metal is it blunts your knives really badly. And I don't like having a sharp knife because I'm so prone to cutting my finger with a knife. So I'd rather have the knife I use, which is blunt enough not to cut me, but sharp enough to get through everything that I need to cut. And, you know, I'm just happy with it. So I don't want something that's going to blunt it so much that I'm not going to be able to use it anymore, because that would make me sad. And I don't have a knife sharpener or any idea how to use one. So anyway, so wooden chopping boards. I'm using a wooden one at the moment, but apparently you're supposed to use one that has a sort of checkerboard look to it, where they've put ends of wood or something, which is better for not blunting the knife, I think. I did worry about the hygiene of a wooden chopping board, but I've been assured that it's okay. And I think, well, I don't chop meat or fish. I only chop vegetables. So for me, that feels safer with regards to, you know, nasties. And I don't just, you know, you're supposed to just sponge them off. I don't just do that. I do run quite hot water all over them, which probably isn't good for the board, but it makes me feel better that it's hygienically clean. I've realised I've missed a petal here. It's because there's no lines on it. So I'm just going to go back and do that using my pink madder first. Like that. I'm going to also check I haven't missed any more. No, it's just that one. And then onto my baby pink, just to finish it off. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? All these sort of health scares. Oh, you mustn't do this, you must do this. And I used to think, oh, it's not that complicated. We just need to, you know, whatever. But I can now understand why it is, because, you know, I hear a lot more about, well, it doesn't actually matter what types of food you eat, whether you decide you want to eat lots of meat or lots of fish, or whether you want to be vegetarian or vegan. It doesn't matter as long as you don't have too much junk food and you have sensible portions and things like that. But I don't know whether it is that simple. I also feel that it is probably an individual thing, that probably for some of us a certain way of eating would suit us, and for others of us it wouldn't. I do know that that my body likes a good amount of fibre, but not too much protein, or else, you know, I don't feel like my tummy is comfortable, you know. And I also have things that I can't eat that upset my tummy too, but I'm working on that, because I think it's irritable bowel syndrome. I'm working on my anxiety, and I have massively reduced it by going back to doing meditation again, which used to work really, really well for me. And I just stopped doing it, and I don't really know why. And now I'm back doing it every day, only 5 minutes. And it's made a huge difference. It's made a big difference to how well I tolerate other people's stress in the household. Because I used to take it on, because I don't have a stressful life personally. Things don't really, normally, I'm fine. But other people in the household do get stressed, and I used to take that on. And it would make me feel stressed, and it would also make me feel cross with them for making me stressed, which is really not good. So, but I found since I've been doing my meditation, it doesn't get on top of me in the same sort of way. I can be more, have more empathy for them without feeling like I'm having to get involved and taking on the burden. Do you know what I mean? It's been brilliant. And so I feel so much better. So basically, I did an 8-week mindfulness course. I did it twice. I think I didn't finish it the second time completely. And then I just found some meditations which suited me, which were quite short. And I just used them every day. And the techniques, you know, and it's just, yeah, it's suited me, super suited me. I also redid a course. I did a course when I was really, when I was at uni. It was a sort of positive thinking, stress reduction, goal setting type course. And the person who did the course has started releasing his courses as audio files. Was it a video? No, I think it was an audio file. They were old ones that he did a long time ago, I think. I'm trying to think. Yeah. And so I redid that first. It was quite cheap to sort of buy it. And it had changed a bit, but it just sort of was, although I don't use those specific tools that he gave me in the course, it just kicked my bum into remembering how good it is to just do a progressive muscle relaxation, and how amazing I felt after doing it. And it reminded me that, you know, to start doing that sort of thing again. So it was a really, really good investment. As I say, I didn't use the tools. They changed it a bit, and stuff. Wasn't so keen on it, but it's okay, because it was a stepping stone which was so worthwhile. Oh, my water softener has just sent me an alert telling me it's low in salt. They're clever machines, aren't they? So these three, I'm going to put some of this darker colour into the centre, and I'm going to fade it to the outside, I think. So I'm going to start by putting a line down here, and then I'm just going to fade it out like this. Yeah, so it was a great little stepping stone, as I say, towards doing a bit more. And it has been, yeah, super, super useful. I just wish that I could get the rest of the family to do it. But of course, I realised, having studied stress when I was at university, that different stress reduction methods work differently for different people. Plus, you have to be committed and have the time and the will. And I don't mean willpower. I mean, that's a whole different thing we're talking about entirely. But have the desire. That's the word I want. You have to have the desire to do it. You know, because I look at my husband, I think, you're a bit stressed. You ought to find an outlet for that. But he's like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm doing, you know, I want to do this and you know, and doesn't acknowledge it and isn't really interested. So I'm like, well, can't force it onto you. We're moving on to our green now. So I think it's like any lifestyle change, whether that be exercise, you know, anything really. The person has to want to do it. You can't just force them. I'm sure medical practitioners find it very frustrating. And I had looked into becoming a dietitian at one point because I was really interested in that sort of thing. And I realised that it would be so frustrating. Sorry, my swatch chart's getting in my way. That you would see this person and they might have a particular condition and they needed to change what they were eating in order to help themselves. But what if they didn't want to? Or they just liked the food that you were telling them not to eat and disliked the food you told them to eat and they just didn't want to change. And what I'd done, you see, was I had spoken to a few people, having done some learning myself, a few people in my family and stuff, and said, you know, it would be better if you had this. Or, you know, maybe you've got a lack of this. You don't eat many foods that contain X. Maybe, you know, they couldn't care less. They didn't want to know. This is leaf green. They didn't want to change. Oh, well, I don't like that. Well, I want to do that. I enjoy it and all that. And I can't. And then you're thinking about it. Well, you can't blame them. You know, if you really enjoy, I don't know, Coca-Cola, let's say, why would you give it up just because, you know, it might not be good for you? And also, some illnesses that are caused by unhealthy lifestyles are very difficult to detect or to feel a difference. Let's say you get high blood pressure. If I eat salt on my meal, it might increase my blood pressure if I'm genetically predisposed to having a high blood pressure from salt. Some people do and some people don't. So I learnt. I don't know if it's true. That's what I read. But I like putting salt on my food, and I put it on my food and I eat my dinner or whatever, and I don't feel any different. I don't feel like my blood pressure's gone up. So if I stopped it, I wouldn't feel an instant benefit. And so it would make it very difficult for me to instigate that change, you know, because I'm like, well, I can't feel it. It doesn't seem to make any difference, you know. So I think that's part of the problem too. Same as exercise, you know, oh, you should do your 10,000 steps a day. I do my 10,000 steps, let's say. It's rare for me to do 10,000 steps. Let's say I did. What would I feel? Probably tired. My muscles might ache. It doesn't feel rewarding, you know. So I think sometimes there's that motivation as well with the stress thing. You've got to find the time to do the relaxation technique, and you might feel like you've got too much to do to use the time to do it, and the results aren't necessarily instant. I mean, I did say, you know, when I did the progressive muscle relaxation, I felt instantly took me to that relaxed state which I had forgotten sort of I could achieve almost. But it doesn't always work that way. You know, I think it can take some training to know how to use it to get to that point. And of course, because I've done it a lot before, I could do it. And also, I do find that once I've been listening to the same meditation a few times, my mind wanders more when I'm listening to it. You know, it's very natural for your mind to wander when you're trying to concentrate on anything. And doing the mindfulness course makes you very aware of that your mind will wander. But you have to just gently bring it back and realise that that is what minds do. It's not something bad. It's understandable. but the fact that you've noticed and come back to what you want to be focusing on is the good thing, you know, and you learn that sort of thing. Whereas, you know, sometimes in some programs where you're doing sort of activities like maybe the progressive body relaxation or anything else, your mind wanders. You might think you've done a terrible thing, that you failed at whatever, but you haven't. You've just, you know, it's just a little bit, you found it a bit tricky on that day. Right, I'm going to tip my book up to try and make, I'm going to take a little photo of that ready for my thumbnail. It's a little bit difficult because the page, when the page isn't flat, the circle doesn't look circular, but to be honest, I'm not sure if it is completely spherical. It's not spherical, circular anyway. But I'm going to leave that there for today. It feels like a good place to stop, to come back and do the newts in the background. I think the background's going to take a little while because there's little spaces, and I might have to keep sharpening and things like that. So I think this is probably a good place to stop, and we'll have a second day of video. I'm sure it won't take more than 2, but I'm just going to erase that there. I've gone out of the lines. You can see how well or not these pencils are erased. Not too bad. Got some, hopefully that's enough so that when we put the water in, it'll won't show. So there we go. There is today's video. I hope that was okay, yapping on as usual, but you can see the Woomer pencils have done a pretty good job, I think. They blended together quite well. They've become quite intense in the areas where I want them to be, not so much in the other areas. I've got no idea what colour I'm going to do. Those newts, I'm going to probably, it's 10 to 12, I'm probably going to go and do a little bit of research into newt colours, and also have some lunch before I return. And actually I'm expecting a possible visitor, so I may not return, but we'll see. But the second half will be there for you. Don't worry. But thank you for watching today. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.